Okay, brethren, this is the final alternate translation, which is really an interpretation of Zechariah chapter 9, verses 1 through 8. I did do an alternate translation of verse 8, which you hadn't heard before. I'm going to try to read it through without commenting on it. Sometimes I cannot do that. I start talking, I start commenting, but I'm going to try. And this will wind down this message. Israel, ISIL, and Palestine. This is the alternate translation of Zechariah chapter 9, verses 1 through 8. The burden of Jehovah's word to ISIL, which claims to be the legitimate ruling authority of Damascus, the land of Hadrach, the god of the Syrians. Jehovah is married to the tribes of the Israel of God through the mind of the whole Adam, which is assembled together against the spiritual power of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry in the Jews and Christians who believe their doctrine, who separated themselves from me when the thoughts of their conscious mind gathered together with the spiritual power of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry to give ISIL the wealth it needed to build a fortified military machine with sharp teeth. Look, Adonai will severely strike the spiritual power of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry, which sees the unconscious mind of the Jews and Christians who believe their doctrine and consume it, and the king of Gaza, who expects to eradicate Christianity, shall be disappointed. He shall not marry the child that he birthed in the Jews and Christians that he captured in Ashkelon, where they believe the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry. On the contrary, the spiritual child that overthrew the Jews and Christians who believe the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry shall be destroyed. And Ashkelon, one of the cities where Jews and Christians who believe the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry are captured, shall see righteous Adam pull down their temple in Gaza and slay the principalities that dwell therein, and shall be afraid. And I will shut the mouth of the disgusting spirit that calls for the blood of Christians and secular Jews, and make their prideful speech irrelevant by assembling the armies of the widowed Elohim in Judah. And they shall exterminate the spiritual power of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry. And then I will circumcise the arrogant Philistines from Ashdod, who captured the Jews and Christians who believe the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry, and marry Hiram Abiff, the illegitimate spiritual child born of the spirit of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry. And the armies of the widowed Elohim shall encamp around my widowed household, and they shall return to me and cross over into my mind. And now that they see with my eyes the oppressive spiritual power of the vehement wisdom of Freemasonry shall not pass through them anymore. Very exciting translation, brethren. I would just like to point out to you as final closing comments that this prophecy, as many do, start out in the natural and end up in the spiritual. So verses 1 through 3 are dealing with natural events, and verses 4 through 8 are dealing with the spiritual events. When the Lord overthrows the ungodly spiritual power, it then will give a positive result to what's happening in the first 3 verses, which are the natural events. The most mysterious verse is verse 5. Just would like to comment on that briefly. The king of Gaza, remember, is a spiritual king who expects to eradicate Christianity. Christianity being a spiritual force. So it's a spiritual king trying to eradicate a spiritual force that's manifesting through a group of people called Christians. He shall be disappointed. He shall not marry the spiritual child that he birthed in certain peoples, Christians and Jews, who birthed the spiritual child rather than the man-child of Revelation chapter 12, because they were impregnated by an unholy spirit, which has generated a doctrine and actually a religion called Freemasonry. I just wanted to clarify that. So the battle is in the spirit, brethren. It's in the spirit. And I guess that's pretty much self-explanatory. So So I hope this message has edified you. Do I dare say that I hope that it blessed you? I certainly hope that it taught you something, and that you're blessed by it, and that you're influenced in a godly way by the Spirit of God, who has sent me, who has called me to send this message, to make this DVD, to preach this message, to make this DVD, and to send it to you. God bless you, in Jesus' name.